Thank you to SimpliSafe for sponsoring today's video.
SimpliSafe is the security system experts trust. What do U.S. News, PC Magazine, and Popular Science have in common? They all rank SimpliSafe's home security as the best home security of 2021. In fact, U.S. News just named SimpliSafe the best home security of 2022 as well. We have loved our SimpliSafe system. It is so simple to install, and we love knowing we have protection throughout our whole home around the clock. There are sensors to cover every door, window, and room. It's customizable to fit whatever you need to keep your home secure. It's nice to be able to see who is at our front door no matter where we are at. There's never a long-term contract. You can try it risk-free for 60 days to see if you like it. There's nothing to lose. With a comprehensive set of sensors and cameras, including the all-new wireless outdoor security camera, you always know what's going on inside and outside your home. SimpliSafe protects over 1 million homes in the United States alone. Check it out. Save 20% on your SimpliSafe security system when you sign up for an interactive monitoring plan and get your first month free. Visit simplisafe.com/redpoppyranch to learn more.
With all of the crazy stuff that's been going on over the last couple of weeks, I kept a couple of videos back on the front porch, and this is one of them. So in the middle of tearing down the front porch, we had 2 different snowstorms come in and slow things down for a day or two. If you pay close attention to the very last horizontal beam, once I get all of the rafters removed, you can see where the beam now has a fairly significant bend in it, and that's part of the reason I want to fix this. But these original beams that I used for the front porch, I milled on my sawmill with wood from trees that I'd cut down from around here. The horizontal beam that started to sag a little bit actually came from the very large Doug fir that sat right behind our house. But the tree was obviously a little bit too green, and maybe undersized a bit too. There are 5 footings that the front porch sits on, and they are all about 36 inches deep. I get to redo all of the electrical as well that I ran for Cedar's Christmas lights. But I'd rather get this all done one last time and feel good about it and know that regardless of how much snow slides off from the second story, that the first story will handle the weight and send the snow right down to the ground.
Come all you young rounders, and a story I'll tell of the promise of heaven and the warning of hell. Take heed where you ramble, or too soon you will go. Way up on the hillside where the new flowers grow. Well, they met in the springtime, the sun sinking low. Two star-crossed lovers in the still melting snow, where the loving was easy and the courting was brief. Well, they called her a beauty, they called him a thief. In the quiet of the evening, they'd steal away, where the laughter would flow and the fiddle would play. Well, the folks called it wrong, but hell, it seemed alright in the sun-painted picture, and the day turned to night. Come up on the hillside, you'll bring the kisses, honey, I'll bring the wine. Keep your heart guarded, or too soon it'll fall. When one walks back home, honey, only one knows it all. Well, she walked up the hillside on one day, and the heart is a hunter, always knows of its prey. And her father's old pistol hanging loose by her side. When she aimed once, she never shot twice. Well, the air was so sweet, and the sky was so blue. Before she could see them, the laughter she knew. She heard two shots ring out down in the town. There was three on the hillside, only one headed down. I was just a baby, but I remember that day when I walked up the hillside, saw two mounds of clay. I'll always remember, and I'll never back up the hillside where the new flowers grow. Back up.
In spite of all the changes that are happening around our place right now, I still need to get the front porch finished. Once I get the front porch completely broke down, I will replace the footings that the front porch has sat on for the last few years with larger footings, and then the process of changing the angle of the porch and the rebuild will start, hopefully very soon. Cedar informed me yesterday that I have less than 5 weeks to get as much done as I possibly can on the house before we have family in town. Once the front porch is completely broke down, I can now remove all of the horizontal siding and reinstall it as board and batten once I've installed a new ledger board that the new front porch will hang off of. I will likely dig out the old footings and reinstall the new ones first so they can be drying while I'm removing the siding and getting ready to rebuild the porch. It seems like every project I start around lumber has a tendency to reflect an upward trend in the cost of lumber when I need it most. In this situation, I don't have a whole lot that I have to buy, but I'm going to end up putting plywood over the top of the front porch instead of the 1x12s that I had initially, and the 1x12s will be used across the back of the house for the board and batten siding. Real quickly, I wanted to say thank you for all of the many positive comments and emails and messages on Instagram that many of you have sent to both Cedar and myself over the last few days. Please understand how grateful we are for you guys. Right here you get a good look at that horizontal beam and what has happened over the last couple of years with the weight of the snow as well as using green wood. But the new beams will be a little bigger than the old beams. The new beams that will be used to rebuild the front porch, I picked up last fall and I've had them sitting in the shop, slowly drying out, making sure that when I go to reinstall them, they're ready to be used. Okay, that's it as far as getting the front porch tore down. I'm going to go through everything, knock all the nails out of everything, organize everything, clean up this front porch, pick up all the nails, and just get ready for what comes next. But before I start any framing, I am going to somehow saw cut around the footings that I put in the ground before and put in bigger footings for this front porch. I don't want to do this again anytime soon. Matter of fact, I don't want to do this again in my lifetime And the one part of this equation that I don't like now is the 12-inch by 12-inch piers. They're deep. They go 36 inches in the ground. I did that part of it right. I feel like it should have been quite a bit wider. So somehow I have to do this without damaging the rest of the front porch. I really don't want to pour an entire new front porch. So. I've maintained that from the beginning the idea of having a YouTube channel in our family was more my kids' idea than it was mine. But as I would search for people that had done something similar to what I was trying to do, there were really only 1 or 2 channels that jumped out at me. And what I found was people did a lot more talking than they showed of what they were building. So I told myself, keep your mouth shut and let the time lapse do the talking. At some point in those early days, I found the YouTube channel called Essential Craftsman, and I would watch all of his framing videos trying to learn everything I could, but I loved his style. And I loved his words of wisdom that he would regularly offer, and I'm certain that's why I started narrating my videos. I can remember watching Wrangler Star videos back in the day. I can remember watching Off Grid with Doug and Stacy back in the day. I can remember reaching out to Doug with Off Grid with Doug and Stacy, looking for advice along the way. I would also spend a lot of time watching Al with Lumna Acres videos. I still love to watch his videos. Al's a good dude and he's become a good friend as well. Somewhere along the way, I figured out how I like to do things as far as our videos are concerned. And ultimately, it's time-lapse because I'm not that great at editing. And I throw a little music in there to distract you from what I'm probably working on. And then I throw my narration over the top of that, hoping that maybe I'll put you to sleep in the process and you'll leave the ads up. But whatever it is I do, it works for us. And I'm grateful that you guys are willing to spend your time watching me figure this thing out. Cedar says what I do here on my videos is some form of therapy, and maybe someday I'll look back fondly on the YouTube experience. But ultimately, I am number 5 of 7 kids, and I most certainly didn't get enough attention when I was young. So you have now become a virtual replacement for all of the people that didn't take me serious when I was growing up.
Engineer, where are you headed? Carry me back to Tennessee. Boy, I got a little girl who's been waiting. Promised that she'd marry. Mister, can we leave this seat? I'll shovel coal, Lord, to pay my fare. Gotta get this train down to the station.
Thank you again to Simply Safe for sponsoring today's video.
Let's go inside.